All right, today we are cracking the actual code of life. We're diving deep into the microscopic world of biomolecules.
Have you ever really wondered what you're made of? I mean, yeah, skin, bones, all that stuff, but let's go deeper. What are the fundamental building blocks that make you, well, you? It's a huge question, right? But the answer is actually pretty amazing.
Okay, so here's the best way to wrap your head around this. Picture your body as this huge, bustling city. It's got everything: power plants, buildings, a whole workforce, even a master blueprint. And the whole show is run by just 4 key groups of molecules. So let's take a little tour of this molecular metropolis.
All right, first stop on our tour, the power grid. You know, no city can run without energy. And in our body's city, that energy comes from one place: carbohydrates. They are literally the fuel that keeps all the lights on. So what are these things, really? Well, at their core, carbohydrates are just organic compounds. They're made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. But their main job? It's simple: provide quick, easy-to-access energy for everything our cells have to do, from thinking to just moving around.
And what's super cool is how they're put together. It all starts with something called a monosaccharide, like glucose. Think of that as one single little fuel brick. Now stick 2 of those bricks together, and bam, you get a disaccharide. That's basically table sugar. But when you stack hundreds, even thousands of these bricks, you get a massive wall of fuel. That's a polysaccharide, like starch you find in plants or glycogen that's stored right in our muscles.
Okay, we've got power. So what's next? Let's check out the city's infrastructure and its entire workforce. This is where proteins come in. And trust me, these guys do pretty much everything.
Proteins are just incredible. They're basically these long chains, or polymers, built from smaller building blocks called amino acids. They're the literal structural beams of our cells, think muscles and tissues. But they're also the specialized workers, the ones who go out and get specific jobs done.
So how do you actually build one of these protein workers? It's a 4-step process. First, you have the primary structure. That's just the simple, straight-line sequence of amino acids. Then that line starts to fold up into some basic shapes, like coils and sheets. We call that the secondary structure. After that, the whole thing folds up into its final complex 3D shape, ready to get to work. That's the tertiary structure. And sometimes, for the really big jobs, a few of these finished chains will team up. That's what we call the quaternary structure.
But what happens when things go wrong? Well, if the environment gets too hot or the pH gets thrown off, a protein can just unravel. It loses its special shape. This process is called denaturation. It's like a worker's tools all falling apart. It just can't do its job anymore. And hey, you've seen this happen. It's exactly what's going on when you cook an egg. The clear protein, the egg white, denatures and turns solid and white.
All right, so our city's got power and it's got workers. What else does it need? Well, it needs walls for protection, right? And some long-term storage for all that energy. And of course, some master plan. This is where lipids and nucleic acids enter the picture. So let's start with the city walls. The building materials for those are fats, which we call lipids. You've got 2 main kinds. Saturated fats have these nice straight chains, which makes them kind of rigid, perfect for stacking together tightly. But then you have unsaturated fats. Their chains have these little kinks in them, which makes them more fluid and flexible. And you actually need both to build a good, strong cell membrane. So here's the key takeaway for lipids. They have 2 huge jobs. First, they build those flexible protective outer walls for every single cell in our city. Those are the cell membranes. And second, they're the city's long-term energy reserve. They can store fuel way more densely than carbohydrates can. Okay, now we get to what might be the most important part of the whole city: the central planning office. This is where the nucleic acids live. These are the information molecules. They are the master plan that directs literally every single thing that happens in the city.
And this breaks down the 2 types perfectly. On one hand, you've got DNA, that famous double helix. This is the master blueprint. It's kept super safe, locked away in the cell's nucleus, and it has all the information to build and run the entire city. And then you've got RNA. It's a single-stranded molecule, and you can think of it as the working copy. It's like a messenger that takes a specific instruction from the DNA blueprint and carries it out to the construction sites where the proteins are built.
So, our city is almost complete. We've got power, structures, workers, blueprints. But to run really efficiently, it needs some specialized support crews and some essential supplies. And that's where enzymes and vitamins come in.
Think of enzymes as the ultimate specialists. They're a type of protein, and they act as catalysts. That means they speed up chemical reactions, by millions of times. Without them, our metabolism would just grind to a halt. And vitamins? They're the essential tools and supplies that our city just can't make for itself. We only need them in tiny amounts, but they are absolutely critical for everything from growth to fighting off invaders.
So when you step back and zoom out, you can really see it, can't you? It's not just a random collection of molecules. It's this incredibly dynamic living system. Carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, nucleic acids, they're all working together every single moment in this beautiful, complex dance that creates the living, breathing city that is, well, you.
All right, so let's do a super quick recap of our tour. The power plants? Carbohydrates. The workers and the buildings? That's the proteins. The city walls and the backup energy reserves? Lipids. The master blueprints and the working copies? Nucleic acids. And finally, the essential support crews making sure it all runs like clockwork? That's your enzymes and vitamins.
And here's the wildest part. All of this incredible molecular machinery, it's all under your command. The food you eat is what provides all the raw materials for the power, for the construction, for the planning. So that leaves just one question. You're the mayor of this amazing biological city. What are you going to build today?